Start your day with insight and inspiration. Morning Tea with Black Westchester's Damon K. Jones, where life, culture, community, and faith come together.
Peace and blessings, everybody. It's a Friday morning. Trying to grand rising to everybody. This is the Morning Tea with Damon K. Jones, and welcome in the morning. I am your publisher, Black Westchester Publishers, Damon K. Jones, and this is the Morning Tea Week in Review, when we discuss what's going on in the news and what's happening in the news. And I hope everybody is enjoying this great Friday morning that we are having this morning. Just trying to do some work here while people come on. Good morning, everybody. So I wanted to do some things. Let me see. Trying to make sure that I am on Instagram this morning. Let me see. Trying to make sure I'm on Instagram. I hope everybody has had a beautiful week while I'm doing this. Good morning, everybody. Just give me 1 second. Just trying to make sure that we are live on all streams. Let me see. Is it working? Well, anyway. There I is on Instagram. So now we're back on Instagram. So peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones here, and welcome to the Morning Tea. Welcome to the Morning Tea, where we discuss what has been going on throughout the past week. And first, the first thing I want to do, I want to send my condolences out to the Higgs family. We've lost a great brother in the White Plains community. He was like a little brother to me. He did a lot for the community. He was a husband. He was a father. He was my little brother, man. And I was so proud of him when he got the job at Westchester County Corrections, because that is a path to the middle class. That is a job that has great benefits. You can take care of your family. It is a recession-proof job. And we don't congratulate Black men enough when they understand that they have to be the providers for their families, and they take jobs in law enforcement. Unfortunately, the Black community, looks down on jobs in law enforcement, but the reality is it's a great job. And this young man did his work. He took care of his family, and, because of health complications, he left us, man. And let me tell you, he's going to be missed. He's going to be missed. So I want everybody that's watching, say a prayer for the Higgs family. Say a prayer for him, man. You know, and it's crazy because we was just texting about a week ago, and he wanted to start another business, something for the community. He wanted to start something for the community, and we were supposed to hook up because he wanted me to show him how to do the whole social media thing. And I'm like, brother, once my foot get better and I'm able to travel, we definitely gonna chop it up, have lunch. And it's never gonna happen, man, because he left us. And to his big brother, you know, love your guys, man, and have prayers for the family. In another note, there's another friend of mine, and I'm going to put the link. I'm going to put the link that they're raising money for him and his family. His daughter committed suicide, and we have to send prayers out to the Farrell family. And I'm going to put the link to the GoFundMe in the comments. So if anybody wants to donate money, please donate, because from my understanding is they're still looking for the body, man. And you know, peace and blessings to the Farrell family. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, and probably X, you'll probably see the link. But I'm not sure if you're watching on Instagram that you will be able to get the link. But if you go to Black Westchester YouTube, you'll be able to get the link if you want to donate to the family. Yeah, I'm just putting it in the link. So if anybody wants to donate to the family, they can. You know, I don't know why I am not on this Facebook page. Now let me see if I go live. I'm having a little technical difficulties, and I'm sorry, everybody. But the link the link is up in there. So we got I did a video. I just did a video on YouTube. Anthony Mackie, and I'm going to see if I could bring. I don't know if I have the video on this computer, but anyway, Anthony Mackie had did an interview, and on the interview, he had discussed about the attack on masculinity and how he raised his boys to be men. And he got pushback for that. He got big old Captain America, Anthony Mackie. He got pushback because a black man is saying that he raises his boys to be men. And that's how they look at black men. Like, we're not supposed to be fathers. Like, we're not supposed to be fathers. How is a black man? You never seen a white man get pushed back for talking about white masculinity. You never see it. But when a black man says it, it's like something negative when we talk about raising our young boys to be men, to be responsible, to say yes sir, yes ma'am, to have integrity and character, to be good husbands and good fathers when they grow up. It's like it becomes toxic. They call it toxic masculinity when black men talk about masculinity. So, and this is why we have so much mental illness among black men. The rise in suicide among black men has risen tremendously within the last 10 years, 15 years. And we're not really, we have a little bit of the conversation, but we do not talk about it enough. And part of the problem is they're not taught to be men. Now there's a lot of good fathers out here. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good fathers out here. But when we have the national conversation about black male masculinity, it is shunned. And I know a lot of y'all, a lot of y'all don't want to recognize it, but the last election when Obama scolded young black men on not supporting a black woman, see that's part of the trend. Right there was part of the trend. And I'm telling you, Barack Obama couldn't have done that with some grown men sitting in the room because he would have got checked. He would have got, Obama would have got checked. But thank God to Anthony Mackie for using his platform as Captain America to talk about the issue of black male masculinity. Because we do not talk about it. We do not talk about it enough. And because we do not talk about it enough, there is a mental health crisis throughout black men. And it seems like nobody really wants to talk about it. And that's one of the articles that I've written on Black Westchester Magazine. On Black Westchester Magazine. And please go to blackwestchester.com and check out the articles that we post. We take a lot of time. Well, here's the article. Here's the first article I wrote here. Obama challenges missing the mark. This is when throughout the election they just went off on black men. And black men wasn't saying anything. They were quiet throughout the election. And then then to make it even harder, one of the realest hoods on the planet, yeah, black manhood. That's right. Absolutely. And throughout the election, I mean, nobody was saying anything. Oh man, what happened? They keep popping back up. Nobody was saying anything. Nobody was saying anything. And then we got attacked for being misogynistic, not supporting black women. And black men wasn't saying nothing. I know some of y'all don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. But where was the discussion? There was no discussion of Black men's mental health. No discussion about Black men's mental health. Also, check out the article about the importance of eating avocados. Yeah, eating avocados. Avocados is a great I don't know if it's a fruit or a vegetable. I'm still trying to figure that out. But especially if you have any type of chronic illness, avocado is good to help you fight. It says avocados are more than just a trendy fruit item. They're rich in they're rich in non-saturated fats. They have fiber, vitamins, minerals, and offer a numerous health benefit. It's a heart healthy fat, lower the density of your LDL cholesterol while maintaining high density HDL cholesterol levels, thereby reducing the risk of heart disease. Additionally, avocados contain high amounts of potassium, which plays a crucial role in regulating blood pressure. So get yourself some avocados, Black folks. Get yourself some avocados because we suffer from high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And we also suffer from type 2 diabetes. I try to eat one avocado a day in a salad, preferably, or if I do like a raw plate. Yes, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. We have to like these things, like what I don't understand. Okay, it's a fruit. Right. Okay, my man. It's a fruit. I always get that mixed up. What is the avocado a fruit or a vegetable? But thank you, brother. But we need to get avocados in our diets, Black people. We got to get avocados in our diets. So definitely. Um, I wanted to jump back, brother Kamal. He brought me back. We have to have rites of passage programs. You know, if you're living in a Black community and you participate in the political process and you vote for your school board members, they need to have programs. See, because right now Trump is going to leave education up to the states, everybody. It's going to be up to the states about our education. So we got to be more involved in our local politics, our county politics, and our state politics, especially in the communities that we live in. We have to be more involved in that. And because of what's going on in the government, we're going to have more say in what we should have say now. See, that's the problem. We should have more say now, but we have to be more involved in voting for our school board. So those that don't vote, you have to participate and vote. And just don't vote Just because a person say they this party or that party. Research that person and see if they attract your values. Don't take nobody else's word for it. Research it yourself. That's your responsibility as a citizen, is to do your own research. Part of the problem of the Black community is that we don't do our own research. We just follow what the next man do. It's just like it's just like that dating game with the balloon. One girl popped the balloon and all the girls popped the balloon. And then one of the girls that popped the balloon realized this is a good dude, but you followed everybody else and popped your balloon. That's what it's all. That's how we do politics. We do not do the research for ourselves to see which, even if there's a Democrat running against a Democrat in a primary, we don't even do the research on ourselves, and then we end up voting for the wrong person because we don't do the research. What else is the lady celebrating the life and legacy of Barbara Perry? Today, Black Westchester celebrates the Barbara Perry, the first African American and first female commissioner of the town of Greenburgh. Big shout out. Yes, yes. Still don't even know if my sounds is working. Um, she was a lifelong Greenburgh resident, fourth generation resident of the town. Barbara Perry was the second executive director of the third Theodore D. Young Community Center and the first commissioner of the Department of Community Resources. She was the second executive director of the Theodore Young Community Center and the first female commissioner of the Department of Community Research. So today we are celebrating the life and legacy for this Women's History Month. Other article you can read about Simone Biles balancing bravery and breaking the barriers in mental health. So definitely read that. When we're talking about mental health and how mental health affects the Black community, which we do not talk about enough. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Greenberg all the way, man. And here's another article. Please check it out. Westchester housing crisis. The systematic segregation keeps Black families locked out of the housing in Westchester County. It's another thing that we do not want to talk about. And I've been saying and I've been saying this for a long time, that Black families have been locked out of the housing market in Westchester County. And it's not just Black families, but because I'm a Black man, I put community first. I want to see my community strong first. then once we get strong, we can worry about everybody else's community. What did they tell you on the plane if the plane goes down with the oxygen mask? Before you help anybody else, you put the oxygen mask on yourself. Then once you have the oxygen mask on yourself, then you help anybody else that's sitting next to you. Black people do the opposite. We help everybody, but we don't put the oxygen mask on ourselves first. That's why the Black Lives Matter movement was backwards, because we're asking other people to make Black Lives Matter instead of telling Black people we have to matter. We don't tell ourselves we have to matter. We worried about other people having us matter. We got to matter first. For Black lives to matter to other people, it must matter to us first. So check out that article on Black Westchester Magazine. Here's another article. Wealth and Responsibility. The Black Church's Role in Economic Liberation. It's very important that we have to change our mindset, especially in the Black church, because it's the largest institution and corporation in America. It's the largest Black institution and corporation in America. Over 60,000 Black churches. We do not need a target if we have 60,000 Black churches. That is our distribution center for Black products. Starts with the Black church. And we need to put economics and faith just like the Jewish people do. Economics and faith like the Jewish people do. And this is not anti-Semitic. This is just how they have their faith set up. It's within economics. Our faith is focus on the afterworld instead of the here and now. Heaven is on earth. So we have to even the mindset of the Black church has to change. And I know people might say, "Yo, bro, you bugging," but it is what it is. The mindset of the Black church have to change. Jewish synagogues have schools, stores, credit unions. We have to do the same thing. Somehow we have to figure it out. We have to be willing to do it. That's the only way you're going to create complete general wealth through Black people that even go to your church. Good morning, Brother Doc. Good morning to everybody that's on Instagram. You know, I don't have a problem having a conversation about it. But I'm going to tell you now, there's scriptures in the Bible that prove if the Jews follow the Old Testament, the Old Testament is in the Bible, and if Jesus said he did not come here to change the law, because Jesus was a Jew, and if we follow Jesus, we should be doing the same as Jewish people. They had 2% of the population of America, and they run industries, own industries. And there's nothing anti-Semitic about that. It's just pure facts. My question is, why aren't we doing the same thing as Black people? That's all my question. Yes, we probably do, but they're few and in between. They're few and in between. It shouldn't just be one church. It should be every church. That's my point. You could agree or you could disagree, but we have to address generational wealth. We have to address how we are within ourselves, not looking out for other people. And I challenge anybody that's watching, download Project 2025, load it up into AI, and ask Project 2025 if Black people were self-sufficient, if they were self-sufficient, with banks and industries and schools, would Project 2025 matter? And it will tell you mostly not. Mostly not. I challenge anybody to do it. You could go right online. You could go right online, download Project 2025, load it up into AI, and ask it questions. And it will tell you that if Black people had their own institutions, if they took their $1.5 trillion in spending power and spent it with themselves, Project 2025 will just be a book. It wouldn't even matter to Black people. It matters now because that book matters now because we haven't done what we're supposed to do as a community. Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be foolish not to. Every ethnic group has a protection community. They just don't brag about it. Especially if they're protecting their wealth. Absolutely. That's what scared everybody about the Nation of Islam, because they had the FOI. So, we have to rethink not just on an individual and celebrate and celebrate those who make it through the barrier, and athletes and entertainers. The athlete is the most celebrated employee. Think about that. The athlete is the most celebrated employee. We celebrate athletes more than we celebrate teachers, police officers, firemen, those who come and protect our community. And this is why they don't get paid the money that they should get paid to deal with our foolishness, because we're celebrating people that are other employees that don't really give anything back to the community. They said, yeah, they do this and that. Yeah, but they don't. Do they put their lives on the line? Do they teach our children? Huh? If your son is assaulted, who investigates it? Does LeBron James come investigate the crime and find the bad guy and lock him up? No. But we celebrate them more than we celebrate the people who service the community. It is definitely a distraction. Another article you can check out: New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams attempts to make history as the first New York City's first female mayor. So I think you got like 10 people running for mayor to unseat Eric Adams. That is going to be a very interesting race. Another article, you got County Legislator Tyree Woodson Samuels fights against Con Edison's proposed rate increase. And if you living in New York, you know the Con Edison is getting out of hand. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. I watched my electric bill just double. Yes, brother, we do have to get more into those industries. And check us out on Mondays at 8 p.m. I got to plug the show. We talking about getting into these industries. And really, the thing is now, Black people better start training our children for AI, because that's going to be the future. Whether like it or not, AI is going to be the future. And we sitting here following a lot of these fools marching and doing all that stuff. Marching is nice, but if you don't, what's the end game? What is the end game? When they're taking American industry to a whole different level, we're not talking about it. We have to prepare our children. We have to prepare our children. Look at all the millionaire tech guys. All of them were nerds. Nerdy dudes. Nerds run the world. Cool people just show off. We have to teach our children to be nerds, to be in science and technology, not outside playing dice. Teach them to be nerds. That's what we need to start doing to our children. Teach them to be nerds. Forget about the cool stuff, because the cool stuff don't get you nowhere. If you're a nerd, you run the world. You end up running the world. And too many times we get caught up teaching our children to be cool. My partner, AJ, editor-in-chief, he did an editorial talking about the youth is out of control, but he asked who's failing who. And it's the adults. You can't get mad at the youth. They're children. They're children. What are we getting mad at the youth for when we're failing them? We're not building the actual institutions. We're the ones in charge of the schools. It's not the youth. It's the adults. We're not on our job. So then the youth do what youth do. They act out. They rebel. You trying to tell me in 20 years we can't solve the gang problem in the Black community? You know why we can't solve them? Because Black adults, we act like gangs ourselves. That's why we can't solve the gang problem, because we are the biggest gangs, Black adults. We're in the church gang. We're in the Democratic gang. We're in the Mason gang. We're in the Eastern Star gang. We're in the fraternity gang, the sorority gang. We gangs ourselves. We fly our own colors. So how do we expect to solve the gang problem when we're in gangs ourselves? Think about that now. I don't really mess with that one, because you ain't part of this organization. If you're part of one organization, you get benefits. If you're not, you don't get anything. We do the same thing as the gangs. We do literally the same thing. But because we have some education and we have some money, we don't look at it the same way. The Democrats and the Republicans are gangs too. They gang bang over money and power. Well, hey, the street gangs too, money and power. It's no different. Jesse Ventura wrote a book called The Demo Crips and the red publicans. And he explained the similarities of the street gangs, because he was in one of those motorcycle gangs too. The similarities, how you rise to the top in a street gang and in a political party. And I suggest people read that. You could get it on Amazon by Jesse Ventura. So it was a great book to explain the gang mentality of politicians. Right now on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, you're seeing one of the biggest gang battles between Democrats and Republicans that we will ever see. Is playing out right in front of our lives. Gang banging. To the point that Democrats are out there just saying F you, cursing the other side out. Republicans ain't no better, but they do it a little more. They do their dirt, but they're not out there doing all that. That's insane. It's totally insane. Since we're talking about gangbanging, article I wrote about Trump's political chess move, how one tweet gaslit the whole Democratic Party. One tweet. Now, my question is, the people that are watching, whether you are support, don't matter what support of each side, and I'm telling you, a shutdown is a government shutdown is never good. I don't care what side get the blame for it. It's 900,000 workers without a job. So I don't care all this fight to lay off, to force a layoff or a furlough. I'm going to say layoff, because I worked for the government for 33 years, and there's no such a furlough is a nice word, because you don't have no real option of getting your job back if they not going to take you back. So let's not be foolish about that. And he gaslit the Democratic Party. Yes, Schumer made a deal, which he was supposed to. That's what we sent politicians down there for, is to negotiate, make offers. We ain't send them down there to dance to Kendrick Lamar and do all these internet videos and look foolishness. We didn't send them down there for that. We elect our politicians to go down there and produce legislation and policy for our interests. And the political process allows sometimes one side to have more power than the other side in the political process. Because of what? Because the people voted. The people voted. So when you go down there and you don't have your power, and your side does not have the political power, you have to negotiate. Now the reality is, and then you can't get mad when the side that has the political power doesn't want to deal with you because they have the numbers. Because guess what? When you had the numbers, you did the same thing to them. Like, come on, like what do we don't understand? But then if you don't have a plan, you didn't have a plan. So Schumer did the right thing on and the 10 Democrats to keep. I don't care what anybody says. He did the right thing so people wouldn't lose their jobs. And this is the thing. Trump learned from his first term. He learned because the government got shut down when he was president before, and it was the largest government shutdown in history. It was 35 days. And then Trump actually took the blame for it because he didn't know no better. And he got blamed, and the Republicans got blamed for the shutdown. It's all documented. So what did Trump do this time? He stayed quiet. You didn't hear him talking about the budget. You didn't hear anything of him saying it was passed, and he tweeted something about one guy that said he wasn't going to support it. But he didn't come out and talk about any shutdown or anything. He learned from his mistakes. And then he made a deal with Schumer, whatever the deal was, and Schumer did it. And they kept the government open. But then what he did is when he made that tweet thanking Schumer, set the Democratic Party on fire, set them on fire. So now they're trying to ask, they're going after Schumer. Because they eat their own very quickly. Very quickly, they eat their own. And now we're in this mess right now, where Democrats is arguing among Democrats. They're trying to get AOC to run against Schumer, and that's not going to happen. Schumer is no way worried about losing his seat to AOC. So understand that, and that's the next article. If they ran on the primary today, Schumer will crush. He will crush AOC. And AOC, her political capital, she does not want to have that loss. So for all y'all talking about Schumer has to go, there's not one politician in New York that's going to be able to beat Schumer. Not one. So we need to move forward from that conversation and start talking about what is the Democrats' agenda moving forward. What is their agenda? Just to promote people out there burning Teslas? That's it? What's the policy? What is the policy? What are you going to do? That's what needs to be talked about from the Democratic Party. So check out that article. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. And we're going to celebrate 35 years of Public Enemy's Fear of the Black Planet. One of the greatest albums ever. And I'm telling you, after this album, I really believe that's when they had to change rap music. Because they didn't want young Black kids to talk about revolution and education and unity and coming together. And no. And that's what it is. It's fear of a Black planet. That's what we're living in 35 years later, but we haven't learned. And there's another article. Canada is literally is literally Canada is literally thinking about Dead in America on Pornhub. Deading America on Pornhub. Pornhub is a Canadian company. Never knew that. And with the tariff war against Trump, Canada is thinking about deading America on Pornhub. So Americans going to have to get their porn from someplace else. They ain't going to be able to get it from Pornhub. I think that's very interesting that they will go, we'll fix America. We're going to stop Pornhub. We're going to keep them from watching Pornhub. That's crazy. So I want to thank everybody that's watching. We're here every Friday. I started a little late today, had a little issues, but had some issues. So, but we're here every Friday, and check out us on Sunday, the People Before Politics show. Me, myself, and AJ Woodson. And on Monday at 6 o'clock is Elevation Nation with Taksha Young. And then at 8 o'clock on Mondays is Money Mondays, when we talk about generational wealth and positioning ourselves to be leaders in institutions and businesses. On Tuesday is Balling with the Budget, where I talk about my favorite collection, and I have collections of colognes and how do we smell good without spending a whole lot of money, and we have that discussion. Has Black Magazine ever had articles about where Black Wall Street could take place in Westchester County? Absolutely. It's Mount Vernon. And we as Black people squandered the opportunity to have our Black Wall Street. I did an article years ago, and unfortunately we had a we had a attack, like a bot attack, and we had to delete the whole it was so bad we had to delete the whole website and clean out the server. It even attacked our server. So, but I wrote an article called Mount Vernon, Westchester's own Wakanda. It said that our leaders have sold off the vibranium, and if those know the comic book of Wakanda, their strength was their vibranium, and that they were the only ones who had vibranium. And I talked about how Mount Vernon's piece of land, that 4x4 square miles of Mount Vernon, was the vibranium, and they sold it off to white developers to just build low-income housing and not housing for middle-class Black families to purchase and own. And because of that, Mount Vernon is in the condition that they're in today. They don't have a tax base. They don't have real businesses. They don't have chain businesses in the city. They don't have chain businesses in the city. High crime. The police department is not functioning at capacity. They don't even have a hospital. So yes, we talked about it, and I'm just putting the question back up to one of the watchers. We talked about it. That should have been the Black Wall Street, Mount Vernon. They called it money earning at one point, and at that time it was going in the right direction. What happened? They sold off their vibranium, their land, to developers. And it's not just the city leadership is at fault. It's the state, it's the county. Just read the 1992 advisory board to then Andrew O'Rourke, the county exec. It put everything that's in that report in 1992 about Black people, how not just, wait a minute, not just Mount Vernon, but Greenburgh. All down 119 used to be Black businesses. It was the whole strip, because my aunt owned the last fully functional Black business on 119. And that was the World of Beauty. Black owned by Black women. She was the last Black owned business on 119 until they ended up selling that. Hey, good morning, Jack. Absolutely. So we had opportunities. And even now, the Greenburgh area is around 35% Black. Mount Vernon is 60 to 70% Black. Greenburgh is 35% Black. But the difference between Greenburgh and Mount Vernon is that Greenburgh have homeowners, not renters. That's the difference. Well, if you read the report, Jack, as usual, Black folks was tricked. The report explains how all down 119, where that shopping mall is and all that, used to be Black homes. Black homes. And they tricked them Black folks to sell their homes. And I know with my mother, 119 used to be a whole bunch of Black stores and bars and all that, because my mother used to hang out down there. That's how I know. My mother used to tell me the stories about that when she was young, and her older brother, and they lived in Peekskill, used to take her down there to go out. But if you don't know the history, you just see what you see now. So, I mean, we really have to talk about it. And how do we get that back? Once you lose that property, you ain't never getting it back, because now it's a mall. Oh, let me get my light. My light went out. Let me plug my light in, get some juice in my light. Yeah, there we go. Because it's a mall. So, we have to learn from our mistakes. But we have many opportunities to create those type of towns in Westchester County. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure what it is. I have to go back, but I think in this article here, I'm not sure. Let me see if I posted the link. Yes, if you go to this article here, y'all, hold on, let me copy the article, and I'm going to put it in the chat for anybody that want to read, Black folks that read. This is the article about the real estate, and you could definitely click on that article, read the article, but also I have the link to the 1992 African American Advisory Board report. And I think we need to read that, and then I'm on a subcommittee now on the African American Advisory Board about asthma, and how asthma in the Black community is caused by our neighborhoods a lot of times, because asthma has risen in our children. Asthma has risen in the Black community. And one day, the subcommittee chairman, he's going to come on the show and we're going to talk about that. We have to hold our elected officials accountable. We really do. We can't get tricked by the foolishness, because we're suffering and nobody wants to talk about it. And then we put it in reports and nobody wants to read it. You got to read. And then when people scream and talk about it, they say we crazy. But we're just telling the truth. It's easier. It's hold on. When I was making NAACP, we did a report about the harmful environmental factors like asthma, water treatment, and food. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And how many people read it? And then after that, what changes happened? No, because Black folks like to party. You just give a Black person a party. And it's crazy, because if you talk to people now, they're more worried about Elon Musk than worried about what's going on in their actual community. Nobody read it. Exactly. Exactly. Nobody read it. Nobody read it. Well, I hope this time people will read it when we do it again. Hey, Jack, man. Afro Circus. I don't know. Do I have it? Oh, man. But I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. I can't tell if you hear it anymore from this system that I got now. That's what it is, an Afro Circus. That's what we're caught up in, an Afro Circus. And I might write an article about that, how we're caught up in an Afro Circus. And I also did an article. I don't know if I could find it now. I think it just moved down the chopping block. Let me see if I could bring it up. I'm about to do a video about it because I wanted to discuss it. Well, I also did an article about what was the benefit. You can't hear it? Yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure it out, because you should be able to hear it. And I don't know why people can't hear it. Oh, maybe because no, this is it. Yeah. I don't know, brother. I don't know why nobody can hear it. I don't know. I got to check it out. I don't know why now nobody can hear it. You still couldn't hear it, Jack? Hit it again. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure that out why we can't hear it. But yeah. So we have to, man. We have to do our research, because the game hasn't changed. It's just the players. That's all. And until we understand the game and play the game differently, then it's going to be it's going to be insane. But I talked about Target. I talked about the Target boycott, and I'm still trying to understand why they still. I mean, Black economists has debunked the lie that Black people benefit from DEI. Like, I don't understand why we can. Black economists have already said. Black economists, I already knew because I read. But Black economists has debunked the lie that Black people actually benefit from DEI. And I don't understand why these politicians and these entertainers and these preachers keep talking DEI. I don't understand it. Because we didn't 70 to 80%, white women benefited 70 to 80% of DEI initiatives. Black people got a little bit around 30%, within the 30% margin. And under DEI, the wealth gap between Black and white widened. Why? Because white women benefited from it. So that increased the white wealth. Didn't increase our wealth. So if we pull the whole DEI thing out, what are we doing? What are we doing this for? So when you boycott Target, and we're only 9%, we're 9% of the customer base. And I put it in the article, and I wanted to show. I wanted to show the whole graph. Yes, it includes a lot of different groups, but we didn't benefit from it to do what we're doing for it. Where's the white women? They benefited from it the most. And you don't see them saying anything. That's my point. We're out in front of a program that we didn't benefit the most from. We're putting ourselves on the line for a program that we did not benefit the most from. That's all I'm saying. So now you're out there, you're going to boycott Target. And I did the timeline in the article. Exactly. And I did the timeline in the article. I went to timeline. I did the timeline in the article, and after the DEI, after they decided they let the DEI out, Black preachers and pastors, and they all did all the DEI stuff, right? Then after the boycott, that's when they discontinued Black products. Now, what do we do? What do we do now? Now, what happened to those Black products? They said, oh, well, if y'all are boycotting, if y'all going to boycott us, the little 9% of customer base that Black people create in Target, 9%. Oh, so now we're going to get rid of the Black products. So these Black products have lost a distribution base. So indirectly, we messed up the little Black products that was in Target. Because only thing Target announced that they was getting rid of their DEI program, which we didn't benefit from it the most. Then they never said they was getting rid of the products. Then you have some of the people that had products in Target was trying to beg Black folks, don't do it. At the store in Target? Yeah. Because yeah, well, that was you shouldn't have boycotted the store. You should have made sure that those black products was being bought. Only the black products. You boycotted the whole store. Your little 9%. You boycotted the whole store. And he had black products in there because of your little 9%. So then now you boycott the whole store. So what was the point of having the black products? And as somebody that owns a vitamin company, a supplement company, distribution is the biggest problem. It's the biggest problem. And to get a distribution deal and have your product in a place like Target is big for a small black business. Like, what are y'all talking about? We work backwards. If anything, we should have told our people to go in Target and only buy black products. Get the list of the black products that's distributed in Target, and that's what you buy. Don't buy anything else. But these Negroes is out here talking about boycott Target. So now they don't have a distribution. And I don't hear and I don't hear not one preacher, not one leader, one preacher, one leader talking about how do we create a distribution center for black products. Black churches, 60,000 black churches in America, and we don't have a network for our black products. And yes, I'm pointing out the churches because y'all are the oldest and largest institution, black institution in America. And we do not have a distribution center for our black products. And you know what makes it hard for small black businesses? Having a warehouse, hiring people to put the stuff in the box, in the orders and all that. That's a pain in the behind. And if you're not making that type of money, it's hard. So to get a contract with Target and be in Target's store, remember, they already made, once it's in the Target store, the black company made their money. Like, why do we work backwards? Why are we following these leaders talking about DEI when we didn't even benefit from it? And if that was the fight, then you go in there and you only purchase black products. And that will force them to have more black products. Now, what they did was let the black products that they had go because y'all Negroes boycotted the whole system. Come on, man. We got to do better. We got to stop playing Uno while the world is playing chess. That's what we're doing. And we follow these leaders. And I'm going to tell you something. When you see a big movement like that, out of the blue, out of nowhere, somebody's getting a check. Somebody is getting a check to do it. When you see it all over the media and you see that narrative being pushed all over, somebody's getting paid. I'm telling you for a fact, somebody's getting paid. Exactly. But we listening to other people without thinking this thing out. How does it affect Black business? How does it affect the Black products that are in Target? Now, Target has announced they're getting, and that was after, it was the timeline. That was after the protests. They just, only thing they said, they was getting rid of the DEI program, and Negroes went crazy when we didn't even benefit from the damn thing. When we didn't benefit from it. And nobody's talking about being self-sufficient. Nobody's talking about having sovereignty. Black people have to get away from progressive politics and have sovereignty politics. We're working on that. We're working on having a whole section called Black Wall Street. And we're going to have a list of black businesses. We're working on that as we speak. Yeah, but I mean, okay, well, why? Yeah, hey Jack, where's the white woman? Where's the white woman, Asians, and Indians? Where are they at? Why aren't they marching? Where are they at? I haven't seen one Asian on CNN, MSNBC, ABC talking about DEI. Have you? Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely. We are working on that. We are working on getting black business. Yeah, but where are they? If they benefited the most, why aren't they out here marching? I ain't seen one Asian marching for DEI or Indian. Exactly. We're bottom of the list, and we're the ones out here making all the ruckus. Go figure. Go figure. We're making all the ruckus. So I mean, that it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any type of sense. And then when you talk about it, then they turn to Trump. Oh, what Trump going to do? I don't care what Trump's going to do. If we were independent, if we had our banks and we had our institutions and we had our national institutions, we wouldn't care about what Trump is doing. I think black person needs to read Amos Winston because psychology. Absolutely. It don't matter if we have black businesses if we don't trust one another. Right? We don't support the businesses right way without the right mindset. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%, brother. You know, and I don't know, man. Like we have to, and then you got these social media gurus who don't talk about Amos Wilson. You know, I had a conversation with one person and we talked about it. He dismissed Amos Wilson. Me and Jack, we had this conversation. He dismissed Amos Wilson. How do you do how do you do that? How do you do that when he actually gave the blueprint for Black Power? No, we should market our black businesses. We should. I mean, we have to but we have to, in the process of that, we have to change the mindset of the people. We have to market our black businesses, but we have to get black people into thinking and buying Black products. Well, then he shouldn't be him. Hey, Jack, if you don't know Amos Wilson, you should not be on YouTube talking Black power, straight music, without a foundation of what you're talking about. That's my point. Other people can think different. But if you're talking Black power and Black sovereignty, and you haven't read the book Blueprint to Black Power, then it's no need for me to have a conversation with you. Well, that too. And Dr. Claude Anderson is still alive, still doing videos, and a lot of people don't even know who he is. But that shows us where we are today, and what we actually need to change. You know, so I also did an article about Black health, that a study had came out that Black people live longer when they go to Black doctors, and that shouldn't be surprising. Black people live longer when they go to Black doctors, and like I said, that should not, that I don't think that's surprising. You know, and I put in the link. I put the link into a Black Doctor network, Black Doctor USA, Black Doctor USA. And I'm going to reach out to them because I'm going to try to get them on the show, because I want to talk about, could it be the stereotype about said businesses that come into play? No, it's just that we don't have a culture. You know, the Jewish culture, the Asian culture, even the immigrant culture, right? They within themselves, like we don't have that in our culture. We hate on each other big time. We won't support a business because it's Black people. We hate on each other. And that was, and I think that was the mindset with integration, that the white man's ice is colder. His ice cream tastes more vanilla. Integration done a work on our mind, on our mindset and our psyche about the differences between Black and white businesses. Exactly. And that's why it's important, Jack, in communities, in Black communities where we are the majority and we vote on school boards and we vote on, elected officials heavily, we make sure that these schools are entrenching our children with people like Dr. Claude Anderson, people like Minister Farrakhan, people like Dr. Amos Wilson and Dr. Leela Africa, right? Dr. Sebi. We have to infuse that into our own education, because that's where education is going. They're leaving it up to the states. And our churches need to be more involved. Like, imagine if our churches did the same thing as the synagogues, where you have a church, you have a school. Right? That's why it's important for charter schools in the Black community that's teaching our children good education, but from a sovereignty-based understanding. And I'm going to keep saying sovereignty, because we have to get rid of people that's watching. We have to start changing our mindset to not progressive politics, but to sovereignty-minded politics. Oh yes, yeah, they do, because my granddaughter, she goes to a private school. She doesn't. I don't think it's a charter school. I think it's a private school. And my youngest granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, she went to, I believe she went to public school, but she was well. My oldest is advanced in everything. But that was when she was in Mount Vernon. Now she moved further upstate. She's balanced with she's balanced with the students that are there. How about that? She was advanced in Mount Vernon, but when her mother moved to another school district, she was balanced. And now she has to work a little harder because she wants to be in that level where she was at. So now she's working harder. Well, Jack, that's part of the argument. That's part of the argument too, you know. But then private schools, you just have to have money. You just have to have money. You know what I'm saying? So we have to figure it out. But what does that say to the public schools? You have to change your curriculum. You have to give better education. But here's the problem with the public schools now, and especially in the black areas. Now they're dealing more with kids with mental health because the charter schools will take the best. The families with means will take their children out and put them in a private school. So now you're just left with the kids that have learning disabilities, mental slight, issues. And then you have those type of parents that don't invest in their children's education. So it's really a double whammy. But what schools really need to do is really have trade schools, vocational classes, and vocational trades within the high school, within the school system, to prepare these young people that are not going to college to have some type of trade that they'll be able to provide for their family. You know, that's where we need to be in our mindset of education. I'm reading some comments from Instagram. Tammy says, well, we can just focus on black people that love one another and build on that, and who knows that. Yes. Well, Tammy, that starts there, but we also have to make it grow and educate. Absolutely. It said this administration is forcing us to create schools for ourselves because public schools aren't serving our children. Absolutely. Absolutely. Van the Minister 914, thank you for your comment. Tammy.sub, thank you for your comment on Instagram. Absolutely, brother. But that's what we have to do. But we should have been doing that. We should have been creating schools and institutions, right? And trade schools. We should have been doing that 60 years ago. That's the thing. Pharaoh has let us go. He has let us go. And he said, Tammy, you bugging. So Jack says, Tammy. but Farrell has let us go. Perhaps the public school districts have an incentive and promise programs like Say Yes to Education in Syracuse. I don't know. I don't know of that program, Say Yes to Education in Syracuse and Buffalo. That's something new to me. But we have to have education, and we have to make sure young people that 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 don't go to college have some type of trade. There's reports that says there's going to be over half a million job openings in the future for trade, for electricians, for plumbers, right? We need to start preparing our young children for those jobs, but we're not talking about it. Yes, absolutely, Van the Minister on Instagram. Yes, we still operate from a slave mentality. Absolutely. So we might have to do like the Bible and let those wander in the wilderness for 40 years before we could be people of Joshua. Maybe that's what needs to happen, brother. But we have to be the Joshua generation. You know, and maybe that has to happen because we're still talking and we're still talking like slaves. I've never seen before in my life so many black men so worried. When we have the power, we have the spending power, man. We have $1.5 trillion of spending power. What are we worried about it for? We're just not doing it correctly. And we have to change our culture. The Old Testament and the New Testament and even the Quran tells us that. It puts it in the culture. But we don't have a culture, we don't have a black culture really built on faith. We don't. We just have a black culture built on, I don't know. I don't even know what it is at this point. And what is our black culture? Because it's not built around economics. The Jewish community is built around economics. Asian community is built around economics. Even the Italian community, and they got here after us and it's built on economics. Even the Irish community. The graduation rate in high school. Well, I think he was talking about in private schools. I think he was talking about in private schools. Right, but even at the graduation rate at 62, we still should have trades for those who don't even graduate. I mean, but you know what? A lot of black men, and that's, and it circles back. It really circles back till we talk about the mental health in black men because our systems is not working for them. Right? How do you build a family if you're going to a failing school that's not preparing you to be a provider, not just for yourself, but for your family? What do you think these young children are going to feel? What do you think that it does to the mental health of their psyche? When the institutions that we monitor and that we provide as adults are failing our children. But how do you figure that? That doesn't make any sense. So we have to create these systems. And we're not creating the systems even in the area where we have the power to create them. Let me tell you, black excellence will trump racism every day. And black unity, we won't have to worry about racism. The only thing in the past that kept us back, that we didn't understand the art of self-defense. I'm gonna say that again for people that don't get it. Black Wall Street, all those black communities. What we didn't understand back then is the art of self-defense. See, this generation we have now in 2025, you're not going to be able to do that, what you did back then. You got a different type of black man and a different type of black woman. So if we focus on the understanding and the blueprint of what they did in Black Wall Street and create that, now you add the self-defense mechanism in there, and it is what it is. Go about your business. Don't start none, won't be none. I posted on Instagram, it was a black community down south that they had a couple of marches of the KKK. They created their own security force for their children and their family. And them black men and women were out there with guns, looking like police, bulletproof vests, everything, protecting their children and their elderly. Damon, you are in my wife's doctorate studies? Oh, really? Well, I'm humbled by that. What is she, Brother Van? What is she writing? It was in Ohio, outside of Cincinnati. Yeah, man, I'm going to do a couple more studies on that, and I'm going to write a whole article, and I might do a story on it, a whole video on it, and post it on YouTube, because that's sovereignty thinking. That's how we should think, right? Just like those black people in Ohio. You come in here, you come in here and you threatening our community. And if the police not going to do it, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to get black people together and we're going to do it ourselves. And I felt very proud to see black adults, men and women, standing, protecting their elderly and their children. And let me tell you, that's probably one of the safest communities in America. But they don't want to really talk about it and show black people what we can do if we're willing to do it. You don't hear CNN, MSNBC, Fox News talking about what those black people were doing. No, they don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to show us that we could have a sovereignty mindset. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying that. That's sovereignty politics. That's sovereignty politics, and that's what black people are going to have to start thinking about. Not progressive politics. Progressive politics has done nothing for us but kept us slave-minded, that we have to be dependent on the government. When you have sovereignty politics, you are talking independence. Yes, CBS. Yep, CBS was the only people that covered it. Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And 9 times out of 10, I bet you the producers didn't even know that was up, that she was doing it until she did it. They probably wouldn't allowed it to come on. You know, but that's an example of sovereignty politics, having a sovereignty mindset in the black community. And I think we need to talk about that more. You know, actually, I'm probably gonna I'm gonna put up, and anybody that's watching is a political think tank that people can join and get emails, or you could join Black Westchester. So, oh man, I can't find it. Well, I have to put it up, and we have to talk about it. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I only try to be on here an hour on Friday. Friday is my day to start working on promotions for the week, next week of Black Westchester. But definitely check us out this Sunday at 6, People Before Politics radio show. I'm not sure if we have a guest coming. I got to check with AJ. But Monday is Elevation Nation with Tasha Young at 6. I know she's been busy, so we're going to see if she comes through. But if not, 8 p.m. is Money Mondays, and I'm trying to schedule my brother Eric Kahn, Eric AI, and we're going to talk about the whole AI industry. You know, when we cut through the noise of the politics, the political noise of America, I don't know if people saw President J.D. Vance's speech over in Europe about AI and where AI is going in America. I think we need to really pay attention to that, you know, and not be distracted by political gangbanging and look at the intentions on international industries like AI. And we need to, so we know, because we'll get lost in the sauce and we'll get behind, and probably Black people are more behind than ever, because we don't have a lot of people going into engineering and blockchain and all that. And those are the things we need to start teaching our children. You know, we really need to start teaching our children these things, because we gotta figure out how we get ahead. You know, and that's the goal, is figuring out how do we get ahead as Black people. And that's what Black Westchester is all about, just to create the conversation. But you still got to read. You have to read. You have to read. So check us out. And Tuesday, as I said, just check us out. Tuesday is Balling with the Budget. If you missed last week, I talked about 5 colognes that every man need to have. Check this out and compare them to more expensive ones. You know, listen, my days is over. I'm on a fixed income. My days is over spending $400 or $500 for a bottle of cologne. I'm not doing that, man. I don't know about y'all. If you got the money and that's what you like to do, that's your business. But I like to collect them because I like scents. So I collect different colognes, and I talk about them and how you could smell good without spending your whole paycheck. You know, because you know, either you smell good or you don't. Either you smell good or don't. Yeah, give me a call, brother. Definitely. Yeah, give me hey Van, give me a call. Give me a call. If I don't pick up, text me. But let's hook up, man. Let's hook up. I'm moving around more just because I had an operation on my foot. So I'm moving around more, and I need to get out. I need to get out the house because it's my right foot. So I wasn't able to drive. Um, I wasn't able to drive, so I just been staying in the house. But now I'm getting a little better mobility and less pain, but it's still healing. It was like a 2.5 hour operation, so you know I got to take my time and let it heal. But you got my number, brother. Hook up or send me a DM, and we'll link up. But on Wednesday is Wellness Wednesdays, when we talk about health, wellness, and mental clarity. Thursday is Motivational Thursdays, when we talk about, how do we get our mindset together? How do we get our minds on the right track, to have a sovereignty mindset, to be men and women, God-fearing men and women too. Like, listen, we got to be God-fearing people. We got to get back. And then Friday, just like we're here today, is the morning tea, where we have discussions while I have my tea for the morning. So thank everybody again. I thank everybody that's watching, everybody that's on X, everybody that's on Instagram, my Instagram family. Thank you very much. Thank you, brother, and thank you for your prayers, Brother Van. Thank you for your prayers, man. We're just out here trying to do God's work. That's it. It's nothing else. And sometimes, some people don't disagree, but you're not disagreeing with me. You're disagreeing with God. Because all I'm telling you is what the scripture says, and how we need to live our lives by the scripture, and have a culture, have a faith-based scriptural culture that involves economics. We cannot leave economics out of it. So I want to thank y'all again, man, for joining me this morning, and check out the other shows, man. God bless, and talk to y'all soon. Peace out.
Start your day with insight and inspiration. Morning Tea with Black Westchester's Damon K. Jones, where life, culture, community, and faith come together. Please subscribe, follow, and share Black Westchester. It's the news with the Black point of view.